Let's jump right in. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive paradigm shift about why you might be feeling totally stuck right now. You know that feeling? Sitting at your desk, just staring at your screen, wondering why you literally can't push forward on a project you know you have the skills for. Well, if that's you, you're in the right place. And spoiler alert, it's not because you lack talent. It's definitely not because you aren't smart enough. Today, we're going to completely redefine how you look at daily productivity by uncovering the actual engine that drives your success. Let's start by validating that heavy, just overwhelming exhaustion you might be carrying around. We have to ask a fundamental question. Why do incredibly smart, highly experienced people suddenly just throw in the towel? I mean, we see it all the time, right? Folks with stellar resumes, sharp judgment, just hitting a brick wall and walking away. Now, what's really fascinating about this question is the hidden variable it exposes. When we see someone give up, or when we give up ourselves, we almost always blame competence. We say, I guess I just couldn't cut it. But actually scratch that. It's not about being incapable. It's about being entirely drained. We aren't machines, and honestly, ignoring that biology is a fast track to a complete emotional collapse. Section 1. The difference between ability and energy. So, let's put on our psychological expert hats for a second to deconstruct the real root cause of these daily struggles.
To really grasp workplace burnout, we have to separate two ideas that society constantly mashes together. On one side, we have ability. This asks, can I do it? It's your theoretical limit, your hard skills, your years of training. But on the other side, we have energy. And this asks a very different question. Do I have the drive today? This is your daily capacity. A psychological expert will tell you that the fundamental difference here is that true job burnout challenges your long-term capability and self-worth. But what you're likely feeling on a random Tuesday, that's just simple energy depletion. Your daily drive's bank account is just hitting zero. Your ability dictates how well you could theoretically do the task, but your energy dictates whether you can actually lift your hands to the keyboard today.
And this brings us to a pretty harsh reality. Energy debt doesn't disappear. It just waits for a time to collect. Think about it. We've totally normalized taking out massive overdrafts on our personal energy accounts. We pull all-nighters, we grind through these relentless high-stress crunches, and we keep our emotions bottled up tight. And sure, you might think you're getting away with it because, hey, you met the deadline, but you're really just racking up debt. And that debt, it is absolutely going to crash your system at the worst possible moment, usually when you have zero bandwidth to handle it. We have got to stop this cycle.
Moving on to Section 2, physical energy, our basic energy reserve. To fix that empty bank account, we first need to look at our most foundational currency. Take a look at how our modern world is secretly working against our biology. If we compare our environments, the trap of modern living becomes super obvious. Think about our ancestors. Humans spent almost all of evolutionary history in resource-poor, highly physically active states. Our bodies are hardwired to know that if we don't eat, sleep, or move enough, our physical energy just tanks. But look at where we are now. We live in this bizarre state of fake abundance and true laziness. We're eating high-calorie but nutritionally empty diets, we're sitting in chairs all day. This modern setup quietly eats away at our physical reserves. And when that physical energy shrinks, your patience, your focus, your self-control, they shrink right along with it, leaving you irritable and completely inefficient.
So, the crucial takeaway here is that there are no magic hacks. No secret biohacking rituals are going to save you. The absolute core of physical management is astonishingly basic. Balanced nutrition, regular exercise, and adequate sleep. That's literally the whole shebang. It's just the unglamorous daily maintenance of those three pillars. You've got to maintain this baseline every single day to build the physical foundation you need to resist daily burnout. Without this baseline, absolutely nothing else we cover today is going to work.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3. Psychological energy and recharging. Because, honestly, physical energy is only half the battle.
Let's talk about the silent killer of productivity. You know, you can eat perfectly, sleep a solid 8 hours, and still feel entirely exhausted. What's super interesting is the stark contrast between these two types of fatigue. Physical depletion is loud. Your muscles ache, your eyelids are heavy, the fatigue is obvious and easy to diagnose. But psychological depletion? It's completely invisible. The symptoms are just, I can't get motivated, or this vague, unexplained annoyance at literally everything, or just feeling emotionally numb. And because it doesn't ache like a sore hamstring, this invisible depletion tricks us. It makes us falsely believe we're just being lazy or losing our edge, when in reality, your emotional bank account is just deeply in the red.
To safely navigate your way out of this mental deficit, we need a proactive strategy.
And there's a brilliantly simple psychological tool for this called the Good Time Log. Here's how it works. Step 1. Just record small, pleasant moments every day. We're not talking about a grand European vacation here. Maybe it's just a nice walk in the sun, a perfectly brewed cup of coffee, or a fleeting moment where a colleague truly understood your point. Step 2. Review this log periodically. And Step 3. Deliberately reconnect with these memories when you're in a low-energy state. Every single time you review this log, you're making a gentle, necessary deposit back into your mental account. It gives your mind a safe little haven to recharge when it feels empty.
All right, Section 4. Identify and avoid energy black holes. Recharging is fantastic, but it's completely useless if you're actively leaking power at the same time.
Imagine trying to fill up a bucket that has a massive hole blown through the bottom. We have to identify and actively step away from these invisible drains. And this right here is where so many of us lose our drive. The invisible office conflict culture. We're talking gossip, cliques, passive aggression, the endless blame shifting. These specific workplace behaviors cause an immense amount of psychological internal friction. It's like a silent war that just shreds your mental resources. And a psychological expert will warn you, even if you navigate the office politics perfectly, even if you win the turf war, your passion and energy are completely hollowed out in the process. You end up losing your trust in people and your fundamental interest in the actual work. So the strategy here isn't to fight harder. It's to recognize this friction for the massive energy black hole it is and consciously distance your emotional investment from those toxic loops.
Now, while office conflict acts like this violent vacuum, aggressively sucking away your energy, there's another black hole you've got to watch out for: boredom. Boredom is this sneaky state that traps you in a low-efficiency, meaningless loop. It just slowly grinds away your initiative and your creativity. It might not cause the huge negative emotional spikes that conflict does, but it's a slow leak that empties your tank all the same. But hey, the good news is you can quickly reboot from this one. If you realize you're trapped in an energy-draining boredom loop, literally just switch your physical environment for a few minutes or find a highly engaging, novel microtask. Just do something to break that cycle and jumpstart your brain.
Section 5. True Self-Management. So we've got our physical baseline, we know how to make psychological deposits, and we know how to dodge those black holes.
So how do we tie all this together to actually thrive in high-pressure environments? I want you to burn this core concept into your brain right now. Extreme focus requires extreme energy. We live in a world that is constantly demanding we go all in, right? That we hit a flow state on command and bring laser focus to every single task. But listen, you simply cannot force all-in engagement without a solid foundation of safety, physical comfort, and a fully charged psychological account. If your mind is running on fumes, sure, your brain might still process the information, but your heart and your drive, they won't be in it. Anyone you see sustaining long-term creativity and focus is, behind the scenes, an absolute master at managing their energy.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to do an honest audit of your daily life. Look at this question: is your work slowly hollowing you out? Take a beat to really ask yourself, are you eating well? Are you moving your body? Do you have a mental log of beautiful memories and small joys to lean on? Or is your environment, the passive aggression, the boredom, the relentless grind, quietly bleeding you dry? Remember, if you are exhausted, it is not a flaw in your character. It's a data point. It's your system's dashboard flashing red, telling you you're running on empty.
Managing your energy is absolutely the ultimate modern skill. We live in a society that is endlessly obsessed with measuring ability, but ability is completely useless without the fuel to deploy it. So please, stop punishing yourself for perceived incompetence. Stop calling yourself lazy. Protect your energy, build up those physical reserves, guard against toxic workplace black holes, and actively make those deposits into your psychological bank account. If you do that, you're going to realize you had the ability all along. You just finally gave yourself the energy to actually use it. So I'll leave you with this to think about tomorrow morning. Are you managing your time, or are you managing your energy? Because which one is actually going to get you to your goals?